Hello and welcome to today's video providing an introduction to the highly respected QCD system of performance measurement and management. My name is Carl and I'm a business improvement greybeard. In today's video we'll first look at the origins and pedigree of the QCD system before discussing in more detail its structure and logic as a generic but pretty flexible means of providing performance oversight to a wide range of operational activities.
Welcome to the Greybeard Academy, providing knowledge and advice to business leaders and business improvement specialists around the world.
The QCD system represents a pretty respectable attempt at addressing an age-old conundrum of business performance. If you want something quick, with short lead time, it will cost you more. If you want the quality to be perfect, it will take longer and cost you more. Which one of the three do you want? Quality, time, or cost? The QCD system attempts to start the philosophical business improvement ball rolling, so to speak, by putting forward a logical approach to managing and improving all aspects of performance holistically. If we manage our process and business activities in this way, understanding our performance and why it is what it is, and then doing something about it, we should be able to achieve continuous improvement of net performance and improve quality, delivery and cost at the same time. If we reduce the time it takes to deliver our processes, they should be inherently cheaper. If we can eliminate all of our quality issues around waste, rework and repeat activities and scrap, things will cost less and will take less time to complete. The QCD system has its origins in the UK automotive sector. The UK government, through the Department of Trade and Industry, sponsored a long-term business performance improvement initiative, the Industry Forum, centred on the adoption of what were then considered to be Japanese business improvement methods, immortalised through the Toyota production system. A team of hands-on business improvement experts from around the world, but principally from Toyota, Nissan and Honda, were brought to the UK to pass on their skills and knowledge to a cadre of UK engineers. As well as this hands-on training that went on for about 10 years, they were also tasked with pooling their experience in the development of a comprehensive suite of business improvement tools and techniques. A true common approach tool set for business improvement. One of those products was the QCD system for monitoring and managing business performance. Although mainly focused on operational performance, it shouldn't be confused with a relevance only to manufacturing. The principles of QCD apply to any operational activity, whether that be serving customers at a counter, staff recruitment, invoice clearance, design, or indeed production. Though it's a standardised and generic system, the principles are certainly flexible enough to apply equally well in both service and production activities and businesses. The basic principle of the QCD system is to focus on the activities within an area as a process, although this can be at pretty much any level within the business. It could be the operation of a site in its totality, or it could be the activities of a particular department, area or cell. For this area under consideration, the process would represent the things that local team do in order to satisfy their business needs, the scope of their local responsibilities. At the highest level of consideration, we can split the performance of the process into two main areas: the effectiveness of the process in providing the outputs that are needed to satisfy customer requirements, and the efficiency of the process, which is measured in terms of the amount of resource investment required to deliver those outputs. With the QCD system, the effectiveness of a process is considered then in terms of quality, performance and delivery performance. And that's performance associated with those deliverables or outputs. The measures of efficiency in the operation of the process are generally time-based and consider the productivity or cost rate of each of those resource categories, those categories being people, materials, equipment and site costs. the cost of the working area. Taking this a little further, we can use the overall holistic performance oversight to understand and manage improvement priorities, focusing on the specific measures that matter most to our particular business or performance needs. We can specifically target improvements in effectiveness or competitiveness if required. So looking to improve our performance in those critical order-winning criteria of quality, delivery and price. Even in its raw off-the-shelf format, the QCD system is extremely powerful, and it will allow most companies, particularly if relatively new to management by KPIs, to make pretty significant inroads into performance improvement. There are a few limitations, mainly since the oversight is mainly insular, with little consideration to the outcomes outside of the process area, but these issues are relatively easy to address with a couple of add-ons. That would enable an organisation to expand the oversight into a broader business context. For example, one thing I've done with this in the past is to link QCD performance directly to a company's profit and loss account in order to model and target specific improvement areas and understand their impact on commercial business performance. This kind of activity can be really useful if an organisation is looking to increase the practicality of their strategic or business planning and their contents. The only item I would always add into a QCD deployment is a measurement of lead time. This would improve dramatically our ability to tackle both delivery and cost performance more directly. So, where to start? We generally focus our efforts first on business effectiveness. This is because these are the aspects of performance that external parties might judge our business on and potentially act upon those judgments. So these could result in loss of customer orders or other unexpected shocks. Once we've resolved the main issues with performance effectiveness, so once we're at or close to 100% quality and delivery performance, we can then turn our attention on improving our resource efficiencies. These are, however, likely to be pretty far from equal in significance, and probably one or two of those resource areas will hold almost all of the improvement potential. For example, are there any critical capacity or capability constraints that need very careful management? If so, these are the resource areas that we would focus on. One key consideration that we should never lose track of with the QCD system is the significance placed on time when considering resource efficiencies. All four resource areas include a time element within their calculations. So, for example, if you consider your people costs, you would first think about how many people do we have within the area. Then we could look at what the rate is, so how much we pay per hour of that staff time. And then finally, when we're completing the product or service, this will take a certain number of hours. So the overall calculation of the resource costs is based on number of people times hourly rate times the time over which we pay that, or the lead time. Traditionally, when businesses consider cost cutting, expanding on that people example we've just discussed, companies would often focus on reducing the number of people or other resources. Approaches like Lean or the QCD system would instead encourage a focus on time. So the basis of this is that if we can reduce lead time, we can reduce cost whilst increasing capacity. So if we reduce the number of people, we have less capacity and less ability to reduce prices whilst maintaining margin in order to increase sales volumes. If we can reduce lead time, we can provide additional capacity. So back to that original business performance conundrum. The QCD system is relatively simple both to understand and to deploy. The entire system includes only 6 performance areas, and quite often 1 or 2 of the resource areas will not be significant enough to be necessary to include in that deployment. Even if we then added on the recommended inclusion of lead time as an enhancement, we're talking about an extremely simple investment in time and effort in order to achieve a pretty rich holistic oversight of performance. The conundrum would suggest that improvement in one area of the QCD triangle must come with a corresponding deterioration elsewhere, treating the performance of the process as a balloon. You squeeze it in one place and it just comes out in another. History has proven this to be a fallacy though. The QCD system has an impressive track record in adding to that volume of truth. The QCD system allows us to maintain and achieve a pressure and positive influence on all three corners of that philosophical balloon, all at the same time. So, in summary, the QCD system provides a logical, holistic mechanism for the adoption of management KPIs at either site, department or team level. The system's flexible enough to use very effectively in both service and production areas. The scope of the KPIs is light enough that deployment is relatively straightforward, but strong enough that a sound management of overall performance can be achieved and a net improvement in overall performance in quality, cost and delivery can be facilitated. The system's a great framework for enabling the necessary focus on Lean or Six Sigma activities so that their impact is relevant, effective and sustainable. If you're interested in learning more about the QCD system or KPI approaches in general, please do look out for one of our other videos on the topic. We'll soon be posting a video on the specifics of each of the measures used in the QCD system and how to calculate and deploy them. And we'll have other videos following pretty soon on how to use the data they generate to best effect. We also plan some more advanced videos on the science of KPI measurement and how to optimize the selection and design of measures to specifically suit your own business needs, and also on how to establish and manage the improvement cycles necessary to exploit that business intelligence provided by the KPIs. Well, thanks for watching and I look forward to seeing you on our next video.
We do hope you found today's video interesting and informative. If you did, please click the like and subscribe buttons below. This really helps in getting our videos prioritized and found. Thank you and ciao, the Great Beard Academy.